My name is Halina Goldstein, and this is my senior capstone project. First off, welcome to a clean bench room, which I quickly got to work measuring and cutting away to make my full-scale mock-up, which took a little bit of building with some 2x4s and screws, but I got it together, and then I mapped out where I wanted the drawers and doors on my piece. My wood came in, so I got to work milling, and here I am cutting it all out and then putting it onto the joiner to get all of my pieces nice and smooth, and then the planer to get the tops all set. Here's all my pieces laid out, and then I got to cutting some practice MDF and made a little rolling cart so that I would be able to move my piece once it was time. Here's me cutting up all the pieces, the long boards, so that I can do my big old glue up for the outside frame. Here's me gluing it up and then taking it all out. Next, I had to scrape off all that glue and send it through the surface sander to get it all to the same width, and then I got to cutting my 45-degree angles so that I could do my mitered joints, and I had to redo them to make sure they were perfect 45, and then here I am cutting up and gluing up for my legs, practicing dominoes, and then cutting it all to width. And then I'm cutting up my plywood for the inside of my frame where I set all my drawers and doors. And here I am cutting a dado so that the back can slot into place once everything is all glued up. Look at that beautiful little piece. And then I went to cutting my hardboard and doing my dominoes. So I recut some inside and handmade all of my dominoes out of the same walnut that was used to make the outside and drawer fronts. And here I am cutting the more complicated dominoes that I had to spend more time measuring out and making sure that they were all perfectly aligned. That was my little test put together. And I cut up blocks so that I would be able to hold that perfect 45 with clamps, and I had the help of all of my lovely friends for what I like to call the biggest glue up of all time. I needed all hands on deck to get all of the dominoes and glue in place and make sure that I got all the clamps properly set up before the glue cured. And this is going to be a 24-hour dry time, so I needed to make sure I had everything set up for overnight. Made sure to check all my angles afterwards, and then I was all set. And then I took all my clamps off and I started cutting up all my boards and milling them all again to set them up for my drawers and cabinet doors. And here's the lovely milling process, and yay, more glue ups, my favorite. And then I got to work cutting the plywood up to make my drawer boxes, and I had to do some dado cuts to get it to fit. And then here I am surface sanding all my drawer and door fronts. Then I got to work building my drawer boxes, which I did with my Craig cabinet bit, and then once I had that all set, I took the time to cut all the doors and drawer fronts that I had lovely glued up and sanded into the proper sizes so that everything would be nice and aligned. And then I installed my drawer slides and had to install the cabinet doors. Next, I had to make sure I could get all the faces on properly and so that everything aligned. And then I got to work on carving, which was a big task. I traced it out first where I wanted it to go to follow the wood grain and the coral pattern. And then I got going with my lovely angle grinder and fun attachments to really get that depth into my piece and sort of mark out where I wanted it to go. This did take a lot of tests and trial before doing it on the final piece, but I'm very happy. And here's me drilling out holes to put the feet for the threaded inserts. And then I got to work grinding more and more of the pattern because I realized I wanted more depth to it. And after doing more grinding, I got to sanding that smooth and sanding those lovely feet. Then I had to turn it on its side to install those feet, which took a little bit of time, but then I attached the push to open hardware, which lovely, look at that drawer. And then I had to get to work to staining it, making it look real nice and shiny on where I had done that sample carving. And now I will continue to do that carving and refining my hardware, and I can't wait to see where this credenza goes. Thank you so much.